Hello to everyone tuning in. I hope you're having a great morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. My name is William Bolch, and I'm the host of the College Athlete Life, where we gain a further understanding of the college experience through the eyes of a college athlete. Welcome to the fourth episode. Joining me today is baseballer from Sonoma State University. My guest today is the very talented Jared Esparza. Thank you for joining me today, and how are you going?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on.
That's good. How's your day been so far?
What was that?
How's your day been so far?
My day's been good. It's around 3:30 here, 3:45. We just had practice and just got back to the house.
Yeah. Would you like to give,
sir.
I guess, a brief introduction on like the sport you play, the team you play for, and how you're going this season?
My name is Jared Esparza. I play at Sonoma State University. We're Northern California. It's a wine country. Like everybody knows it for wine country. My season's been going all right so far. We got off to a good start. Hit a little bit of a rough patch, but then we found our stride again towards the end of the weekend.
Yep. So were you born and raised in California?
Yes, born and raised in California.
What was that like for you?
It's awesome. I mean, like the most beautiful place you can live in the world, or at least in the United States. I'm not sure how you guys would see it in Australia, but I sure love it.
The California is definitely saying there's a big destination. It's probably like that, London, Paris, like those are the big ones, I reckon.
Oh yeah.
So when did your baseball journey begin, and like how'd you get into it?
Ever since I could pick up a baseball and play with one, my first word was ball. So
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it was just kind of destined for me. 4 years old, I like started playing organized baseball, t-ball, and I haven't put it down since.
Okay. I was like basketball or like football, as you call it. Was that never an interest to you?
I used to play soccer actually.
Yeah.
So I had to I had to hang those cleats up when I was like 12 years old because I wanted to get serious with baseball, and I didn't have time to juggle around both of them at one point. So yeah, but soccer's my my second love.
Would you say that's a good choice?
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I just never got into football or basketball when I was younger.
Yeah, fair enough. What about high school? What was that like for you? Like, were you fully sports? Like, were you good at academic as well? Or how'd you go with that?
I was all right academically wise. I wasn't like the top of my class or anything, but I was a middle of the pack, I'd say. And
Yeah.
my high school is a really good academic high school. We have a one in my town, so it's a big focus in our town for sure.
And was baseball also a focus there? Like, not only for you, but like for the school?
Yes, yeah, baseball is a big deal. Football is also really big in my hometown, but baseball definitely is up there.
Okay. And at what
Yeah.
time did you know that you wanted to go to Sonoma?
Around I'd say February of 2020, my COVID year, senior year for me, got shut down by COVID, and I needed somewhere to play, and I got looked at by Sonoma, and I came and looked at Sonoma myself, and we kind of just fell in love with each other. It's a beautiful campus, beautiful area, 40 minutes to the beach, and if you want to go skiing or snowboarding, it's 3 hours. So
I guess then, like, so what are you currently studying, would you say? Or like what's your degree in?
My major right now is history. I'm not sure if I'm going to follow through with it, but for now it's history, and I like it. It's nice. It's good work, keeps me busy.
Yeah. And at college, can you still play, or in your case, baseball, if you drop the major?
So I'm not sure how you guys have it out there, but we have units, like applicable units. And if you're not enrolled in 12 units for a semester, then you're academically ineligible.
Oh, okay. So is that like when you go into like redshirting?
Yes. So if you like fail grades somehow, then you wouldn't lose a year of eligibility.
Yep.
But you'd still be enrolled. So your timer is still running out technically, but you still have 4 years still to play.
Okay. And what would you say the college culture is like at Sonoma?
It's good. It's really relaxed. Good vibe here. We have good weather, so everybody's always out and about. See a lot of people. Definitely makes it fun when you're playing sports too. A lot of people you kind of meet. You don't realize it.
Mm. And do many people dorm on campus?
Yeah, I think we'd have about 5,000 to 6,000 people in the dorms.
Whoa.
Yeah, the dorms here, we have like 10,000 students in general.
Yeah.
Overall, and definitely the lower classmen live in dorms for the first 2 to 3 years, and then if you like off-campus living, if that's your vibe, then there's housing and apartments off campus.
Mm. So how far are you from campus then?
I'm living on campus this year. This is my second year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that good? Is that good? Do you reckon? Like, do you enjoy that?
Yeah, it has its ups and downs. I'd say just the convenience of having everything at my disposal is here. Being able to walk to classes and walk to the baseball field. I can see it out my window. So that's always good.
Yeah. And I guess like the movie version, I guess, that many people see of American college campuses is like parties all the time on campus, like and frats and stuff. Is that a reality or
not here? No, this is a smaller school. Like if you're talking about like party wise, this is a smaller school. A lot of the party schools are big, 30,000 to 50,000 kids. And I mean, it depends on like how you look at it, because a lot of people like that lifestyle, but a lot of people it's not for them.
Yeah. So you're more a fan of like that sort of like tight knit community, like brotherhood sort of stuff.
Yeah, a lot of people here know each other. It's like once you meet somebody, you start seeing them around more. And I feel like if you were to be at a big school, you'd have to like plan to meet somebody.
That's fair enough. What would you say is the coolest thing on your campus?
We have a rec center that's like it's a gym, and they have basketball courts, and they have a sauna, like a rock climbing wall, and like it's like an activity center for students during the day. And it's just somewhere like you can go inside when it's not the nicest outside, and you can kind of just hang out with your friends and get lost there for hours.
Damn. And do you get free access to that as a student?
Yes. Anybody who has their student ID can get in there for free.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
We'll go back to baseball now. So what's your position in baseball?
I play outfield and I pitch.
Okay. And I've noticed as well that there's, for example, in a game there could be 3, 4, 2, for example, like pitchers, like not necessarily the same pitcher pitches the whole game. Like how does that work? And like how does the coach decide who pitches when, for example?
It all just depends on the situational aspect. Like you have to play your cards right. It's like a chess match out there. If you having a guy that's struggling, you're going to bring in somebody who is going to fill up the zone with strikes and who's not going to walk a lot of people or give a lot of free bases away. But if you have somebody who's dominating and they feel good, then I think you let them ride it out.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure if you're familiar with cricket, but in cricket, for example, there's 5 to 6 bowlers on a team, and then you'll have some bowlers that will like bowl spin, whereas you'll have other bowlers that bowl fast. Like, is that sort of similar with baseball? Like different bowlers, different pitchers specialize in different things?
Yeah, 100%. It's all about different arm angles too. Like since it's overhand pitching, you can find a bunch of different guys who have different slots with their arms, whether it's over the top or out here or even down below, like by your hip.
Yeah.
It's all about like the deception of the pitch. So you don't have to throw the hardest if you're throwing it from an arm slot that's not familiar. It's like an art.
Okay. And I believe there's 9 people, like when you're fielding, there's 9 people on the
Correct.
field. So how does that work? Like, how does the 9 people get decided when I presume there's people sitting on the bench who like weren't pitchy at the time, for example?
You have your fielders, you have your pitcher, your catcher, first baseman, second baseman, shortstop, and third baseman. And then in outfield, you have a right fielder, center fielder, and a left fielder. And it's all about kind of their reaction and their display of defense. And then if you're a hitting heavily team and you'll risk a defensive liability, then you'll leave your hitters in there who can mash the baseball. But defense is for sure the more artistic part of the game when it comes to being clean and steady.
Yeah.
So it's all about
Oh, you go. What are you saying? Sorry.
Oh, it was just like about it's all about basically who the right guy at the right time, you know?
Yeah. And do you guys have substitutes like basketball?
Yeah, we have substitutes. Once somebody comes out though of the game, they can't come back in. So that's also another reason where you have to think about it like strategically, you know, because if you take somebody out, you're losing them for the rest of the game. So you better be sure that's what you want to do.
Yeah. And do you play the full 9 innings similar to Major League?
Yes, full 9.
Okay. So then when, for example, is, I guess, the average time, if you will, or the average innings when somebody would get subbed out?
On the field, anywhere from the 5th to the 9th inning, you know, later on in the second half of the game when the matchup is favorable for a coach to make a substitution, they're going to do it if it means that they're going to have better odds to win the game moving forward.
And I guess considering you're a pitcher, you'd consider yourself to be a confident pitcher. What about a hitter? Do you consider yourself to be a good hitter?
Yeah, I take pride in that. I throw right-handed and I hit left-handed, which is a little more diverse than a lot of the people I've played against and played with. So it's always good having that ability.
Okay. Do you, and like something I guess some people don't really understand when it comes to sports such as baseball or cricket, example. Like, are you always trying to hit home runs, or are you or do you point out certain spots in the field that you try to hit?
Depending on base runners on base, if you have somebody on second base, I'm a left-handed batter, so I'm trying to pull the ball to the right side.
Yeah.
So then that guy can get over to third base without there being any throws made to his side. It's all about situational. It's a chess game, a chess match.
Yeah. Are home runs common though in your games?
Home runs, you'll see maybe 1 or 2 every game. If a team's really going off, you can see 3, 4, maybe even 5 if they're really good. But it just depends on how they're going to beat you. You know, a lot of teams take pride in stealing bases and hitting the ball on the ground and making the other team field the ball.
And we've slightly talked about basketball. Basketball has March Madness coming up. Do you guys have something like that with baseball?
At the very end of our season, the top 6 teams in my conference, we play a regional tournament, or a conference tournament, sorry. And the top 6 teams will go there. And depending on your seeding, you play 2 to 3 games, and the champion of that is conference champion. And then you play a regional with all the other teams in like the northwestern part of the United States in my conference. Yeah. So somewhat.
Okay. And for example, here in Australia, like we can access college basketball pretty regularly, but we rarely see, and college football as well, but we rarely see college baseball like on our coverage. What's the coverage of college baseball like in America, and like how could you improve it?
So in the MLB right now, in Major League Baseball, there's like a collective bargaining agreement that hasn't been signed with the players. They want more reliability and stability funding wise. And there's been no agreement. So college baseball has been broadcasted a little more nationally, because it's like the only baseball that we get here in the United States as of now. And I don't know if you're familiar with like ESPN. ESPN, they have a lot of college baseball on lately. So if you have the app, you can always watch it through the app.
Okay.
And then conferences have their own network, so that also works.
I've also noticed that when it comes to your fixturing, you'll generally play the same team maybe like 2 to 3 times, like over a week. Like, what's that sort of like, and how does that work? Because I guess that's different to a lot of different sports.
Yeah, it's really not like football or soccer, you'd say, because you get a 3 or 4 game series with the team.
Yeah.
And depending on how you want to play your cards, you can go after them the first couple of games, and then if that works, you can be a little more reliant on the back end of your series on your 3rd and 4th game, and still try to win, obviously. But the good thing about it is with baseball, if you have a bad game, there's always like tomorrow. It's a quick memory. Like you get right back out there and do it again.
In saying that though, is there a mindset some of the time, for example, let's say it's a 3-game series and you're down 2 games, you're about to play the 3rd. Does there sometimes a bit come into the mind where it's like, why bother?
No, it's actually it's really like a salvageable thing, like if you're down there, you really want to get that last one and make sure that you take care of it. Good teams salvage the series. They always find a way.
I like that thinking. Well, when it comes to your baseball, what are your short-term goals?
I just we focus on every inning. Every inning, you want to win every inning out there. If you win every inning on the stat sheet, you're most likely going to win every game.
Yeah. Do you personally have any short-term goals though?
Me myself, I mean, I just go out there every day with like the mindset that I want to learn something I didn't know when I first put on my cleats today and stepped out there.
Okay. What about for the long term?
Long term, I'd say a winning season and a winning culture is something that I like to associate myself with, because the game's fun, but it's better when you're winning. It's fun. Winning is fun, and fun is winning. So those two are kind of linked together and always will be for me.
Is eventually playing pro a goal for yours?
Yeah. I mean, eventually, we all say that we'd like to. It's just about how much of a reality it is for that person. But if I can like play my cards right and do the right things over my next 4 years of college baseball, I definitely think I would like to.
Is America the spot for that, do you believe, or is there much international opportunity?
America is the spot, but there is a lot of overseas baseball. There's good baseball in Mexico, which is down across the border. Germany's got good baseball. Italy. I've even seen baseball in like the Czech Republic. So okay. I mean, just depending on how much you want to get out of here, you can pretty much do it if you really put your mind to it.
Yeah. Does that potentially interest you more than the majors in America, or sort of America, as you said, it's where it is?
Yeah, America has to be where it's at for me. It's just like we all grew up watching it here. So if you have a chance to play here when you're older, you want to take advantage of that. It's really difficult to, but if you got what it takes, then you really should pursue it here, in my opinion.
Is the Dodgers the ideal team, would you say?
The Dodgers, they're kind of hot lately. They've been pretty deep into the last few postseasons, but there's also the big teams like the Yankees and Boston Red Sox. Then the San Francisco Giants are another popular team amongst people all over the world. Personally, I'm an A's fan, so okay. I'm not really too high on the Giants, but I'll support them when they're on. But yeah, there's a couple big teams out there for sure.
Would you prefer to pitch, like go into a team as a pitcher that already has like a really good established pitcher, or for example, a team whose pitch is like not that great, who you could potentially start for?
I mean, I'm always up for the challenge. It just depends on where it's at and how it's going to benefit me down the road. But I'd like to say I challenge myself unless I don't have the opportunity to. I'm awfully sure I'd take any job I'd get.
Yeah. I guess stepping away from baseball for the moment, what are your goals outside of sport?
Outside of sports, I mean, I just try to be the same person I am on the field, off the field. Just there for everybody, maintain my goals that I have on the field. It's just as important to maintain them off the field and keep good relationships with the people I'm friends and family with.
What about in terms of career aspirations? What would you say those are for you?
Career aspirations. I haven't gotten that far into like what I want to do lately, but I definitely think I'm a good people's person, and sales wise, I could be very successful later on in my life if I got into sales in the industry. But those are just a few of the things that I've considered.
Okay. What about away from campus, away from sport? What do you like to do in your free time?
I like to hang out with my friends. We're in California, so obviously there's the beach. About when I'm back home, it's 35-40 minutes away.
Yeah.
Monterey, California is pretty close. So we go to Monterey, Santa Cruz, San Francisco. Those are all within driving distance. And then lakes are always fun for us. You know, I'm a water kid. I was born, raised around water, so I'll tackle it if I get the chance.
Okay. I guess when people, for example, in Australia think of California, we primarily think of LA. Is that close to you, and do you hang around there too much?
I'm from Northern California, so LA is about 5 to 6 hours away. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't say like I associate myself. I have some family there, but I'm not really too familiar with it. A lot of my teammates here at Sonoma State, a lot of them are from Southern California, actually. So it's cool getting to hear stories, and like after a while you get familiar just like by hearing the areas, you know, by association.
Would you say there's a bit of a weather difference as well? Like, is there much of a difference at all between the two, between Northern and Southern California?
Yeah, definitely. Northern California is definitely a bit cooler during pretty much all 4 seasons. Southern California pretty much stays around 75 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit, which is pretty dang nice, depending on where you're from looking in at it. But yeah, a lot of people definitely would say that Southern California has the more beachy weather and sunny weather throughout the course of the year.
Okay. I guess we'll now sort of move on to, I call it the speed round, but it's not really too speedy, so we'll be nice and chill with it.
Okay.
So who
Sounds
would
good.
you say is your biggest influence?
I would say just both of my parents. You know, they've always been behind me and pushed me to be the best. And even when I'm not on the right track, you know, they've put me right back on. So I'd say my parents for sure.
That's good. Bucket list items.
Bucket list items. I'd say you have to have a Bluetooth speaker. And then I can't leave house without hats. I need hats if I'm traveling. You know, you can wake up running late, bad hair day.
Yeah.
Hats for sure. And then I always like to take something I can like mess with in my hands, you know, like something I can fidget with, whether that's a baseball or like even a coin, you know, like just something random I can just have to hold and keep me busy throughout the day.
What's your training schedule like?
My training schedule. Monday and Wednesdays, we have team workouts at 8 o'clock in the morning from 8 to around 9:15. And then practice from 1 to about 4. So it's pretty busy. And then during the middle of the day, you know, eat, do homework, school, classes. It's pretty fun.
What do you do out of season?
Out of season, I don't go as hard with baseball, more like training wise, you know, strength and agility.
Yep.
For my, it's worked good for me the last couple of off seasons. So I think I'm just going to keep on moving with that going forward.
Okay. Favorite movie genre?
Movie genre, probably horror movies. I love horror movies.
Oh no. Fair enough.
Those always like keep me engaged in something, you know.
Keep you alert.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I guess going to the next phase of that, what's your favorite movie?
I'd have to say I'd probably have to go with The Sandlot or Rookie of the Year, both baseball movies. But if we're going horror movies, I'd say The Shining is one of them.
Okay, yeah.
Shining is definitely a good one. If you haven't watched it, check that one out.
Okay, I definitely will. potentially.
Potentially. If it's not for you, it's not for you though.
Yeah, no promises.
Yeah, no worries.
uh, what's the best movie or TV show you've recently watched?
Friday Night Lights.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar. It's a football show about a high school football coach who turns a program around, and it's just a feel good story.
So, would you say it's similar to Moneyball?
Moneyball is actually up there on my list, but yeah, it's a cultural shock. Somebody
Yeah.
comes in there and turns the tables on a program that hadn't been winning, and it makes you want to get up the next day with motivation.
Hmm. Are your favorite music genre?
I'd have to go with like country music. I'd say country music for sure.
Yeah. And then favorite song?
Whiskey Glasses, I'd say, by Morgan Wallen.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Mm. Have you got a warm up or pump up song that you go to?
I'd have to say anything that has a good beat to it, and I can get behind the lyrics. Maybe something like Eye of the Tiger or Pump It Up.
Yeah.
That's always good. Just something you can get behind.
Hmm. And then in addition to music, do you have a pre-game or a pre-event routine that you follow?
Yeah, so usually, before game night, I'd eat a lot, like carbs in particular, and then the next morning, kind of stay light because you don't want to be sluggish throughout the day. Feel like you're dragging around a bunch of wasted energy. So I'd for sure just eat good the night before and then take it easy throughout the next day.
Okay. Favorite sport besides baseball?
To watch, I'd say it's football, but play, I think soccer is really awesome to play. It's a lot of strategy too as well.
Have you got a particular team that you go for?
Yeah, I grew up a Manchester United fan.
Yeah.
Because of my grandpa. Yeah, he's a big soccer guy. Got me into it.
Okay. Winter or summer?
I'd have to say summer. Yeah, love being in the heat and the water. Around the lakes, ocean. Yeah.
What would you say your greatest achievement is?
Greatest achievement is probably getting to play college baseball every day. Waking up lucky enough to get to see it another day. A lot of people would kill to be in that position.
No. Do you have any hidden talents?
Nothing in particular, but baseballs, I can fit like 6 of them in my hand, and one of the hands, like just about like spacing them out. But besides that, I'm a pretty basic person.
Yeah. Fair enough. If you were hosting a dinner and you could have 3 guests, who would those dream dinner guests be?
Oh, if I want to hang out and have a lot of good conversation, I'd have to say Bradley Cooper, probably one of them, Matthew McConaughey, and maybe Tom Cruise.
Yeah, so big movie guys.
Yeah, that would be like an interesting table. I don't think we'd ever run out of things to talk about.
That's stories. A good show. I like that.
Yeah.
If you're reading a book and it was the story of Jared Esparza, and the point of the book you're up to is where you're at in life right now, would you keep reading the book to see what happens, or no, you leave it there?
Yeah, I'd want to keep reading just to see what the end result is. You work hard to get to where you're at, and I feel like it's just a cliffhanger at this point.
What's your go-to karaoke song?
Ooh, go-to karaoke. Don't hate on it, but it might be like a Taylor Swift or something. Something catchy. Everybody admits that they'll never admit that they like it, but they know the songs.
Like, for example, like Love Story or something by Taylor Swift?
Yeah, Love Story and Lover and all that,
Yeah. What's the best stadium or arena that you've played in?
Stadium I've played in. Let me think. I've played in a couple nice stadiums. Field of Dreams is always awesome. It's in Central Valley, California.
Yeah.
It's It's a bunch of it's a complex composed of stadiums that replicate MLB stadium, like the designs and features.
Okay.
Like there's one of them I've seen with the San Francisco Giants have a Coke bottle in the outfield.
Yeah.
And one of these fields I've played at has had a Coke bottle in the outfield behind the fence. So I think it's always awesome, getting a taste of that.
All right. That's good. That's good. What about your dream arena then to play in?
It would have to be Fenway Park in Boston.
Yeah.
That's like the most historical venue that there is in baseball. So I'd have to go with that.
Have you been there before?
I have not been out to the East Coast, but that's definitely something I want to do within like the next 2 to 3 years. That's a good age to go out there. I feel like I'd have a lot to do.
If you could travel to 3 destinations internationally, where would you go?
I would go Greece,
Yep.
Czech Republic, and probably Paris.
Okay. Yeah, I reckon that's a good answers.
Yeah.
Your favorite athlete?
Favorite athlete at the moment has to be Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Guy's a freak.
What about your favorite baseballer?
Baseball right now, I'd have to say Matt Chapman was one of my favorites growing the last couple of years. He's on my team, the Oakland A's, but if it's away from my team, I'd have to say like Mike Trout is awesome. Shohei Ohtani, Japanese player, he's awesome. Hits and pitches, which is pretty insane to see at that level.
Yeah. Who's your baseball greatest of all time?
Greatest of all time on the baseball field. I think that greatest of all time, it just depends on like what kind of a position you ask, but greatest pitcher of all time, I'd say Nolan Ryan.
Yep.
And the greatest hitter of all time has to be either Barry Bonds or Ichiro Suzuki.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have Babe Ruth in the conversation?
Babe Ruth is up there. He's the holy grail. He's what everybody kind of like thinks about when they think of hitters. But I think the later on in baseball history, the harder it got for people to dominate. And like today, it's hard to dominate the game. So the farther down the line, I'd say is tougher to dominate.
What about GOAT athlete, generally speaking?
GOAT athlete. That has to be in terms of like success, or are we talking to like ability?
Go both. Combination of both.
Ability, I'd go Bo Jackson.
Yep.
But success, I'd have to be Tom Brady, or maybe Lionel Messi.
Okay.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to an athlete who wants to play college sports in their future?
Just make sure that it's what you want to do and that you work hard at it, because once you get here, it's not you have to put in the work. Hard work beats talent when talent isn't working hard enough. Yeah, so definitely would just work hard and make sure you stay on top of the things that you need to work on.
I like that. And finally, how do you want to be remembered for your time at Sonoma State?
As somebody who revamped and produced a lot of change within the culture. You want to be somebody who regardless of how your team's doing, who can be remembered as like a fire or a spark plug, firecracker. You want to be the guy that people can come to and ask questions. Leader. Yeah.
And before we head off, is there a YouTube or an Instagram or some sort of account that you want to plug?
Yeah, I'll go my Instagram. It's Jared _Esparza. And I don't have YouTube or anything, but that's pretty much it. Just Jared _Esparza.
Perfect. Well, we thank you for joining us today. It's been a great episode. And thank you for coming down.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you for having me on. It's been a pleasure. Hope to talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.